Ladies, welcome back to the channel. Tonight you are in for an absolute treat. Fish tacos, one of my absolute favorite. Tacos of any kind are among our favorites, but I'll tell you what, fish tacos, very, very quick to make, unbelievably healthy, fantastic snack, fantastic mealtime option, and incredibly balanced. Tacos, like pizza, all depends what you put into them. We are going to make them very, very healthy today using some fantastic pickerel. Was out looking at the fish counter and saw some absolutely fantastic pickerel there. Pickerel's a freshwater fish. You can find it in a lot of the lakes and rivers here in Canada, and it is absolutely it's delicate. It's very, very moist. It's a white flesh fish, just absolutely phenomenal for this application. So what I've started to do here is I've started to cut up my pickerel. I've got a couple of fillets here that we're just going to finish off, but I do want to show you how I do this because there is a little bit of a method to it. Now if you feel down here with your finger, there's usually a line of pin bones that basically happens right here, right along this seam. And you can feel where they start and where they end. And usually in this tail section here, there's absolutely no bones. This is just nothing but meat. And then what I do is right along this line where I know the pin bones are, I make a little cut. Make a little cut on the other side. And basically this is the only piece that's not usable. Otherwise, all parts of the fish are usable, and I'm telling you, the flavor of this fish is absolutely unreal. Very, very delicate, very, very flaky, very, very moist. Just, we gotta be careful not to overcook it. So we'll do our last piece here one more time. We'll flip it over. We'll feel with our fingers where that line of bones is, and you can feel it, ends right there. We're gonna cut our tail piece off. Put that on our plate. We'll cut this little belly piece off. Personally, that's my favorite. Very, very thin, very delicate, fries up nice and crispy. Absolutely spectacular in a taco. And then what we'll do is we'll just take this little bone line off. There we are. And from this one, you know what? Maybe we'll make 3 pieces. There we are. So we've got whole plate full of fish that's ready to go. We'll take this cutting board, move it off to the side. We'll give our hands a wash, and yes, they were clean before I started, as they always are. Now, before we get going on our pickerel here, what we'll do is we'll get our tortillas in the oven to heat up. Now, these are corn tortillas. Thankfully, we have a Latin grocery store within literally a 5-minute drive of where we live. These are made literally fresh daily. They have them on the shelf. They're absolutely fantastic. You can find these at any good grocery store. Flour tortillas, corn tortillas, whatever your preference happens to be. These are white corn tortillas. Absolutely love these. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take our corn tortillas, put them in a little bit of aluminum foil. Wrap them up nice and tight, and this way they'll heat through in the oven. Just going to throw them into a 350-degree oven. What we want is for those tortillas to warm up and be ready when we are. So I'm just going to get my pan on the heat here. So what we're going to do with our pickerel, we're going to bread them very, very lightly. So I have here 3 eggs. Just going to crack them into our bowl here. There we are. Now we're just going to beat these eggs. Now these eggs are going to form the basis of our breading. So we'll put that off to the side. We'll give our hands another wash. And what we're going to do is we're going to lightly bread these beautiful pieces of pickerel. And we're going to fry them in just a little bit of olive oil. So nothing too greasy. We're not going to deep fry these. We're just going to fry them very, very delicately with a very light breading. And then what we're going to taste in the taco is going to be the fish. And we really want to make sure we taste that fish. It's beautifully delicate, beautifully moist. I'm telling you, if you've never tried pickerel, give it a try. Over the summer months, when we cook outside a little bit more, I'll use some more substantial fish when I grill on the barbecue, whether it's halibut, whether it's cod, even a side of salmon. I've done this with salmon before as well. They all work out very, very well. Pickerel's a little bit too delicate to put directly onto the grill, so this is why we do it directly in the frying pan. So we've got our egg mixture here. I've got some plain unseasoned breadcrumbs. As a matter of fact, we make our own breadcrumbs. Any leftover bread, we just grind them up, and that way it's completely unseasoned. So we're going to give that just a little bit of seasoning. So a little pinch of salt. There we are. A little pinch of pepper. There we are. And I've got here about 1.5 tablespoons of dry oregano. So this is going to be the basis for our breading. We're just going to mix this up and get all of the seasonings well incorporated. Now, if you are using seasoned breadcrumbs, don't have to do any of this. The seasoning will already be in the breadcrumbs. My breadcrumbs are completely unseasoned because I like to tailor the seasoning directly to whatever recipe I happen to be using them in. So we'll give this a nice stir. There we are. So we'll need another dish. There we are. And now what we'll do is we'll take our piece of pickerel. We'll just put it right into the egg wash. Now you notice, one hand stays wet, one hand stays dry. Otherwise, your hand's gonna look like a big baseball bat full of breading, and we don't want that. So we just want to make sure that we have one hand in the wet.
You mean baseball glove?
Like a club. There we are. So we'll just put that into our breading. We'll just cover it with some breadcrumbs. Give it a very light toss. We're not looking for a very thick coating. This fish, like I said, very, very delicate. So all we want is just a little bit of crispiness on the outside, and we want that beautiful flaky flesh on the inside. And there we are. There's one. So what I'm going to do is I'm only going to bread as many as I'm going to cook in one shot. My plate is roughly about the size of my pan, so once I fill up my plate, I know it's pretty well going to fit in the pan. So what I'm going to do is take pieces that are roughly the same size. That way they all cook in roughly the same time. There we are. We'll give this a quick toss in our breading. And there we are. A couple of pieces. Let's get a couple more here. Put them into our egg wash. There we are. Oh, absolutely love fish tacos. It's a great way to get a little bit more fish into your diet, and you can garnish these any way you like, so it's absolutely sure to please a crowd. Everyone can garnish them exactly as they like, and that way everyone's happy at the table. These literally take minutes to make, and they are absolutely phenomenal. There we are. So I am just going to finish breading a plate full of these little fish pieces, and then I will be back in a couple of minutes. So we'll get the pan ready and we will get right to frying. I will see you in about 2 minutes. All right, we are back. So I've got about half of my pickerel beautifully lightly breaded. We've got our frying pan nice and hot. We're going to take a little bit of our olive oil, and we're going to give this a good 4 or 5 tablespoons of olive oil in the bottom of the pan. And all we're looking to do here is just give this a gentle fry. What we're looking for is golden brown, crispy on the outside, beautifully flaky, beautifully moist on the inside. So we'll just get some of our fish into our pan. There we are. There we go. We'll move these all the way around. Now we don't want to crowd the pan too much. We want to give these guys a little bit of space to cook without kind of bumping into each other. There we are. And I think that will work out well. This is a great starter fish, especially for someone who's kind of trying fish for the first time or really, hasn't developed an appreciation for the flavor of fish just quite yet. It's beautifully mild, it's beautifully delicate, and in something like a taco, I mean, honestly, who doesn't like a taco? So when you put something like this beautifully delicate fish in a taco, this is a gateway fish to things that are a little bit more unique in terms of flavor, but certainly something to try in this application. Absolutely fantastic. So we're going to give this just about 3 or 4 minutes on each side just to develop a little bit of that crust, and then we're going to give these guys a flip. So I will see you in about 3 or 4 minutes. All right, we are back. I have just pulled out my first batch of fish. So this is what we've got. Our first batch, beautifully golden brown on each side. They took about 4 minutes each. So now what we've done in the meantime, we've breaded our fish, and now this is the balance of our fish. We're just going to get this stuff off the board and move this stuff out of the way so we can work a little bit more. Now that first batch is out, we're going to get our second batch in. And because these are all the tail pieces and belly pieces, these will cook a little bit quicker. There we are. Now do keep in mind when you're putting something into hot oil, we want to make sure that we lay it away from you. That way the oil doesn't come back and splatter on you. There we are. There we are. Let's see if we can get all these guys to fit in here. We've got a couple of pieces that will make their way onto the next batch, so we'll just lay these off to the side. And I'm going to give these guys about 3 minutes per side, and then what I'll do is I'll lay them on the same bed of absorbent paper towels, just because we want to wick away any of that excess oil from the frying pan. We don't want that in our taco, and we are just about ready. So I will see you in about 3 or 4 minutes. All right, we are back, and we are just about there. Our second batch of fish is out. It's draining on our paper towels, absolutely beautifully golden brown and crispy. We have our last couple of pieces that we just want to finish off here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get all of our garnishes ready. And now from here on in, this really is just all about assembly. So I like something cool, something crunchy. I like there to be a bit of contrast when I'm eating a taco. So I'm going to have a little bit of salsa at the bottom. I've got my nice, warm, crispy, delicate fish. And I want something a little bit cool and crunchy to finish things off on top. And my personal favorite is a head of cabbage. So this is just this is half a head of green cabbage, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to shave this nice and thin. You can put a little bit of baby spinach on top if you prefer, a little bit of baby arugula on top. Hey, get away from the fish. Gotta fend off the heathens here.
Hey.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this core out of our head of cabbage. And then what I'm going to do, there we are, is I'm just going to shave this nice and thin so it comes out with beautiful ribbons. So literally this is as thin as I'm shaving this cabbage. It's paper thin, but it gives you a good bit of crunch, cleans the palate as you eat, and it's got a great contrast of flavor for a taco. So remember, I'm keeping my fingers out of the way, resting my knife up against my fingertips out of the way, and right up against my knuckle so that I can shave this literally paper thin. And if it's a little too difficult to cut, we simply change the direction. And this way we can cut slightly smaller ribbons. What we're going to do is we're going to take this and put it into a bowl. There we are. I'll finish this guy up. Absolutely nothing goes to waste. There we are. Beautiful. Beautiful. So we will get all of this into our bowl. We will give our fish a quick flip. There we are. And we'll just turn the heat down on this guy because I think the heat is starting to get a little high. And we'll let those finish in the pan. So what we're going to do now, we will get our plate. Put that right there. Let me get our taco shells out of the oven. There we are. So now, give these a quick unwrap. Oh, love it. These are beautifully hot. Just keep that steam inside to keep them nice and moist. And now, how we're going to garnish these. We've got a nice little bit of salsa on the bottom. There we are. We're going to take one of our pieces of fish. Oh, I'm just going to grab one of these little crispy belly pieces. Put that right in there. We're going to get a few of our slices of shaved cabbage here. And then just to finish this up, just a tiny squeeze of lime. There we are. And this is how we do it. Absolutely fantastic. Mmm. 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 Mm. Quick, easy, healthy, absolutely spectacular. If you haven't yet, do like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you on the next one.